The pounding on my door cuts through the darkness like a scream. My eyes snap open. For 3 seconds, I have no idea where I am. The red numbers on my alarm clock glow in the blackness. 5 in the morning. 3 more hard knocks shake the door, and my stomach drops to the floor. Nobody comes to your apartment at this hour with good news. I throw off my blanket and swing my legs over the side of the bed. The floor is cold under my bare feet. I am 32 years old, and this is my life now. A small apartment in Seattle. Just me, my things, and the quiet. After Sloan left 3 years ago, I decided I liked it that way. No surprises, no drama, just my routine, my job as a data analyst, and nights where I can hear the rain on the windows. This is not part of that plan. I grab my phone from the nightstand and walk toward the door. My old gray t-shirt hangs off one shoulder. My sweatpants are wrinkled from sleep. I am not ready for visitors, especially not at this hour. The knocking comes again, louder this time. I press my eye to the peephole. The hallway light has been half dead for months. All I see is a blurry shape. Too tall to be a kid, too still to be drunk. "Who is it?" I call out. There is a long pause. For a second, I think whoever it is has left. Then I hear a voice I know. Only it sounds wrong, shaky, thin, almost broken. "Theron. It is Vivian." My brain freezes. Vivian. As in Vivian Ashford. As in the CEO of the entire tech company where I work. The woman who runs meetings with 200 people like it is nothing. The woman whose name is on every important email. The woman people lower their voices around in the hallway. That Vivian is standing outside my apartment. I unlock the door and pull it open. The sight knocks the air out of my lungs. She looks nothing like the powerful woman I see at the office. Her blonde hair falls loose from a messy ponytail. Mascara streaks down her cheeks in dark rivers. Her eyes are red and swollen from hours of crying. She wears a cocktail dress that was probably stunning earlier tonight. Now it hangs wrinkled on her frame. The faint smell of wine clings to her. "Vivian," I say. I forget to call her Miss Ashford. "What happened? Are you okay?" She does not answer right away. Her gaze moves over me, taking in my t-shirt, my bare feet, the half-awake mess I am. Then her eyes slide past me into my apartment, the small living room, the secondhand couch, the stack of books on the coffee table. When she finally speaks, her voice is barely a whisper. "Can I come in?" Every logical part of my brain screams at once. This is my CEO, a woman so far above me on the company chart that we have spoken maybe 10 times in 3 years. Letting her into my home alone at this hour feels like the start of a very bad idea. What if someone sees her? What if this is some kind of test? What if I lose my job? But then I look at her face again, at the pain in her eyes, at the way her shoulders pull inward, like she is trying to hold herself together by pure force. I cannot say no. I step back and open the door wider. "Yeah, come in." She walks past me and I catch the full scent now. Expensive perfume mixed with wine. Her heels click softly on the floor, but her steps are small and careful. Not the strong stride I know from work. She stops in the middle of my tiny space and looks around. The thrift store couch, the old television, the basket of clean laundry I never folded. I see my life through her eyes. My whole world could fit inside her closet. "I am sorry," she says, turning toward me. "I should not be here. I do not know what I was thinking. This is completely inappropriate." She takes a step toward the door. Without thinking, I move and block her path. "Vivian, wait." I keep my voice low and gentle. "You came here for a reason. Whatever it is, you do not have to leave. Just talk to me." She stares at me. I can see the fight in her eyes. Part of her wants to run. Part of her is begging to stay. Then her shoulders drop and she releases a slow breath. "I had a date tonight," she says. She laughs, but there is no joy in it. God, that sounds so stupid. I am 41 years old and I am crying about a bad date like I am 16. Sit down, I say, pointing at the couch. Please, let me make some coffee. To my surprise, she listens. The same woman who commands hundreds of people sits on my cheap couch like she is afraid she will break it. She perches on the edge, back straight, hands folded tight in her lap. I go to the kitchen and start the coffee maker. The old machine rattles and wheezes. I bought it after Sloan left, when I was rebuilding my life with what little I had. It feels strange using it now for my CEO. How do you take your coffee? I call out. Black, 1 sugar. Her voice sounds steadier now. I pour 2 mugs and bring them back. I hand one to her and sit in the armchair across from her. Not too close, not too far. Thank you, she says. She wraps both hands around the mug like she is cold. She takes a sip and closes her eyes. This is good coffee. Just grocery store stuff, I say. Nothing special. She opens her eyes and really looks at me. I feel like she is searching for something in my face. His name was Marcus, she says suddenly. Marcus Chen, venture capitalist, big office downtown, drives a Tesla, of course. We met at a networking event 3 weeks ago, right after my divorce papers were finalized. I stay quiet. Sometimes people just need space to let the words out. We went to this fancy steakhouse, she continues. White tablecloths, one of those places where you can smell the price. He spent 2 hours talking about himself, his money, his contacts, his opinions on everything. Every time I tried to speak, he would smile, nod, and keep going like I never opened my mouth. I picture it perfectly. Some guy in a perfect suit, in love with his own voice. Then during dessert, she says, her voice dropping, he told me he respected ambitious women, that it was attractive, but men still need to feel important. Maybe if we were together, he could handle the big decisions and I could focus on smaller things, so I would not stress so much. Something tightens in my chest. I did not throw my drink in his face, she says. I wanted to, but I did not. I put down my fork, told him the evening was over, paid for my own meal, walked out like the calm, professional CEO everyone expects. Good for you, I say, and I mean it. Is it? She asks. She laughs again, but it breaks in the middle. Her eyes shine with fresh tears. I sat in my car for almost an hour after that. He is the third man in 2 weeks who made me feel like I am too much, too successful, too opinionated, too independent, too everything. Her voice cracks. My ex-husband said the same thing. For 8 years, Raymond told me I cared more about the company than our marriage, that I was married to my work. And maybe he was right. Maybe I built this career and lost everything that matters. That is not true, I say. My voice comes out firmer than I expect. She looks up, surprised. How would you know, she asks. There is a sharp edge to her voice now. Because I have watched you for 3 years, I say. I have seen you remember the names of security guards. I have seen you stay late helping interns with presentations. I have seen you send flowers when someone in accounting lost their mother. You are not cold, Vivian. You are not too much. You are just surrounded by people who cannot handle someone who knows her worth. She stares at me like I have spoken a foreign language. How do you do that? She asks quietly. Do what? Say exactly the right thing. She studies me. You have been doing it since I got here. No questions about why I showed up. No judgment. Just calm. I shrug. I try to treat people like people, not job titles, just people having a rough night. She is quiet for a moment. That is why I came here, she says finally. Her fingers tighten around the mug. What do you mean? She takes a breath and sets the coffee down. Then she stands. I stand too. We are only a few feet apart. I went home after that date, she says, to my perfect penthouse with its perfect furniture and perfect view. I stood in the dark and realized I could not remember the last time I felt happy. Not proud, not successful, happy. She looks up at me. For the first time, I see raw fear in her eyes. I thought about work, she says, about people there. And I realized you are the only person in that whole building who treats me like I am human. You hold the elevator. You say good morning like you mean it. You stopped one night to ask if I was okay when I was working late. No one else did that. Just you. I remember that night, how tired she looked behind the glass walls of her office. I looked up your address, she admits. In the employee system, I know that is wrong, but I needed to see this. She gestures around my apartment. A life that makes sense. A person who seems real. She takes one small step closer. You are the only person I wanted to talk to tonight. The only one I trusted not to see just the CEO. Her hand lifts slowly, giving me time to move. I do not move. Her palm rests flat on my chest, right over my heart. The heat burns through my thin shirt. I can feel it, she says softly. Racing. I swallow hard. She is right. I feel something too. Something I have been trying to ignore since she walked through my door. You are my CEO, I say, my voice rough. If this goes wrong, I lose everything. My job, my safe life, everything I rebuilt after Sloan left. I know, she says, but she does not take her hand away. We stand there as the sky outside turns from black to gray. Neither of us moves. Neither of us speaks. We are caught between fear and something that feels like hope. Then she takes a step back. I should go, she says. I have done enough damage for one night. I do not stop her. Part of me wants to. Part of me knows I should not. She walks to the door and pauses. Thank you, Theron, for the coffee, for listening, for not making me feel crazy. You are not crazy, I say. You are just tired of being lonely. Something flickers in her eyes. Yes, she says quietly. That is exactly it. She opens the door. Pale morning light spills in. What happens now, I ask. She looks back one last time. I do not know, she says, but I cannot pretend this night did not happen. Neither can I. She gives me a small, sad smile. Then she is gone. I stand alone, staring at the empty mug she left behind, the faint lipstick on the rim, the lingering scent of her perfume. My quiet life has just changed forever. 2 days later, I sit in the main conference room with 200 employees, watching Vivian command the room like a general going to war. She has transformed back into the woman I see in company photos. Blonde hair swept up in a perfect twist, flawless makeup, a navy suit that fits like armor. When she walks to the podium, her heels click with purpose. If I had not been there that night, I would think she was perfectly fine. But I know better now. I see the shadows under her eyes that powder cannot hide. The way her hand grips the podium for half a second. The way her eyes sweep the room and pause on me, just for a moment. Thank you all for coming, she says. I will keep this brief. The room goes quiet. We have been approached by Cascade Equity with an acquisition offer. The word ripples through the crowd. Acquisition. People shift in their seats. Someone whispers, no way. Vivian raises her hand. Before anyone panics, no decisions have been made. The board and I are reviewing carefully. Your jobs are secure. She explains the details. Cascade wants to buy the company. Keep the brand. She is fighting for terms that protect employees. People ask questions. She answers each one calmly. When the meeting ends, the room erupts in noise. Some people look scared. Some look excited. I try to slip out with the crowd. Theron Callister. Her voice cuts through. I freeze. She is still at the front, gathering papers. Her eyes are on me. Could you stay for a few minutes? I have a question about the quarterly data. The words sound professional. I know they are not. Sure, I say. People file out. The door clicks shut. The room feels too big now, too quiet. Vivian sets her papers down and looks at me. "How are you?" she asks. Her voice is softer. "I should ask you that," I say. "That was a big announcement." "I am managing," she says, "but that is not why I asked you to stay." She takes a breath. "I meant what I said the other night. All of it." My pulse quickens. "I know this is complicated," she continues. "I am your boss. There is an acquisition happening. This is the worst timing possible." Her eyes lock onto mine. "But pretending nothing happened is not something I can do." "What do you want me to say?" I ask. "I want the truth," she says quietly. "Am I alone in this? Did you feel anything? Or was it just me? I could lie. I could say it was a strange night and nothing more. I could go back to my safe, quiet life. But when I look at her, I do not see my CEO. I see the woman who sat on my worn couch with both hands wrapped around a cheap mug. The woman who said she was tired of being too much. You are not alone, I say. I felt it too. Something in her relaxes. Her shoulders drop. Then why are we standing so far apart? She asks softly. Because I am terrified, I say. Because you are the CEO and I am nobody. My ex left because she said I had no ambition, that I was happy being average. I am scared of not being enough, especially for you. Her face softens. I am not Sloan, she says. I am not going to punish you for knowing what you want. Even if you mean that, I say, there is still the power imbalance. The risk. She nods slowly. I know. I have thought about that. Silence stretches between us. You said we should be careful, she says finally. You were right. She takes a breath. But I walked into your apartment at the worst moment of my life, and you were the only person I wanted to see. That has to mean something. So what do? I ask. Then we have two choices, she says. Ignore this and go back to how things were, or find a way forward that does not destroy us both. And if there is no way, I ask, then at least we tried, she says. I can survive heartbreak. I cannot survive what if for the rest of my life. Over the next weeks, we build something careful and quiet. At work, nothing changes on the surface. I sit at my desk, run reports, send emails. In meetings, I listen while she speaks. We nod in passing like colleagues. But outside the office, everything is different. We meet at a small coffee shop called Brew Haven on Pine Street. Nobody from work goes there. We walk along Alki Beach in late afternoon when crowds are thin. We cook simple dinners at my apartment, pasta with jarred sauce, salads from whatever's in the fridge. She tells me about growing up in Coos Bay, Oregon, a small coastal town where money was always tight. Her mother worked two jobs, days at a laundromat, nights at a bar. Vivian put herself through school on scholarships. She clawed her way up through companies that did not want to promote her. 80-hour weeks for 15 years. Then I married Raymond, she says one night. We are on my couch, takeout containers on the table. I thought he was different, charming, successful. He said he admired my ambition. What changed, I ask. He got tired of my shadow. Every event, people asked about my company. His law practice was successful, but not newsworthy. He could not handle that. She stares at her hands. He started finding faults. I was too cold, too focused. I worked too much. I did not make him feel like a man. By the end, I could not do anything right. So I left. That took courage, I say. It took 8 years too long, she says. I tell her about Sloan, how we met at a startup where everyone chased the next big thing. She had ambition like fire. But I did not, I say. I watched people work themselves to death for stock options worth nothing. I wanted something different, smaller, real. And Sloan could not accept that. No, she said I was settling, afraid of success. She left 3 years ago. Vivian looks at me with something soft in her eyes. You are not afraid of success, she says. You just have a different definition. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. I reach for her hand, our fingers laced together. For the first time in 3 years, I do not feel less than. I do not notice it at first. But over the next few days, I start seeing Derek Langston everywhere. In the parking garage when I arrive. In the lobby when I leave. Near the coffee shop where Vivian and I meet. He is always looking at his phone, always pretending to be busy. But I feel his eyes on me. Derek is head of HR. Smooth. Too friendly. The kind of guy who smiles while sharpening a knife. Someone is watching us. And I am too caught up in Vivian to realize how dangerous that is. 3 weeks after that first knock, Raymond Ashford walks back into Vivian's life. He shows up at the office as a representative for minority shareholders concerned about the acquisition. But I see his face when he looks at Vivian. This is not about business. This is about control. 2 days later, I find out I am right. I am walking to my car after work when a black Mercedes pulls up. The window rolls down. Raymond Ashford looks at me with a smile that does not reach his eyes. He is 46, silver hair, expensive suit, the kind of man who has never heard the word no. Theron Callister, he says, we should talk. I stand on the sidewalk with my keys in hand. You know, he says, Vivian always had terrible taste. First me, now you. A data analyst in a studio apartment driving a 10-year-old Honda. He leans out the window. She built that company from nothing. And you think you deserve her. What do you want? I ask. I want you to understand, he says. His voice drops. Vivian humiliated me. Filed for divorce. Took half of everything. Walked away like I was nothing. He pauses. 8 years in her shadow. 8 years of people asking what her husband does. 8 years of being an afterthought. Now it is her turn. His eyes narrow. Walk away from her. Disappear. Or I will make sure you never work in this city again. And everyone will know the great Vivian Ashford was sleeping with her employee during a $200 million deal. I stare at him. She will survive a scandal, I say. Maybe, he says. But can you? He rolls up the window. You have until Friday, he says through the glass. The Mercedes pulls away. I stand alone in the parking garage, hands shaking. Raymond is not just trying to hurt her. He wants to destroy her, and he is willing to go through me. The next day, Derek corners me in the break room. I heard something interesting, he says, about you and our CEO. I keep my face neutral. Really? Because I have photos of her leaving your building at 6 in the morning. Twice? My blood runs cold. Derek leans closer. CEO having an affair with a subordinate during a major acquisition. Might affect the stock price. What do you want? I ask. Simple, he says. Resign quietly. Walk away. This disappears. And if I do not, then everyone finds out. The board, the press, her reputation destroyed. Your career ended. I stare at him. Why are you doing this? Derek smiles. Let us say I have friends who want Vivian taken down. She should have been nicer on her way up. That night I sit alone and write a resignation letter. I tell myself I am protecting her, that my career is small compared to everything she built. I am almost finished when someone knocks on my door. 10 at night this time. Vivian stands there, not broken, not crying, furious. You are quitting, she says. How did you know? Derek made sure I found out. He wanted me to see before you submitted it. He wanted me to know he won. She pushes past me. What were you thinking? You were going to disappear without talking to me. Raymond threatened me, I say. He has photos. He will destroy your reputation. So your solution is to run. My solution is to protect you. She steps closer. Her eyes blaze. I do not need you to protect me by leaving, she says. I have fought alone my entire life, against poverty, against sexism, against every man who thought I should know my place. Her voice cracks. I do not need you to fight for me, Theron. I need you to fight with me. The words hit like a hammer. What does that mean, I ask. It means we stop hiding, she says. We go public. On our terms. Together. You could lose everything. I could also lose you, she says. That would hurt more. She takes my hand. I called an emergency board meeting for tomorrow. I am telling them everything. Our relationship, Raymond's threats, Derek's blackmail. They might fire you. Maybe, she says. Or they will see a CEO who chose honesty over hiding. She squeezes my hand. I am done being afraid. Are you with me? I look at her. This woman who knocked on my door in her darkest moment. I am with you, I say. We spend 3 days preparing. Vivian pulls financial records, contacts former employees, finds emails Raymond sent from personal accounts, thinking no one would look. He was sloppy, she says, spreading documents across my coffee table. He thought I was too proud to dig through our marriage looking for dirt. By Thursday, we have a folder 3 inches thick. Emails to Nexus Technologies, wire transfers to offshore accounts. Texts where Raymond promised Derek a promotion for information, enough to end his career, enough to send him to prison. Are you sure, I ask. I have never been more sure, she says. The boardroom is full of expensive suits, 7 board members, Raymond in the corner, looking smug, Derek by the door. Vivian stands at the head of the table. Before we discuss Cascade, she says, I have a personal announcement. I watch from the back. My pulse pounds in my throat. I am in a relationship with Theron Callister, she says, a data analyst at this company. I acknowledge the power imbalance and ethical concerns. The room goes silent. Raymond smiles like a cat with a mouse. Because of this, Vivian continues, once the acquisition is finalized, I will step down as CEO. Theron will no longer be my subordinate. We will continue as equals. Murmurs ripple through the room. Raymond steps forward. This is exactly why she is unfit, he says. Personal scandals, poor judgment. Vivian raises her hand. I was not finished. She clicks a button. The screen lights up with documents. My ex-husband has been working with Nexus Technologies to sabotage this acquisition. He has been selling insider information. He has been paying Derek Langston to spy on me and blackmail employees. Raymond's face goes white. This is ridiculous, he sputters. I have 3 months of documented evidence, Vivian says. Our legal team sent everything to the FBI this morning. The boardroom door opens. 2 federal agents step inside. Raymond Ashford, one says, you are under arrest for corporate espionage and extortion. The room erupts. I watch Raymond get handcuffed. His face twists with rage as they lead him past me. This is not over, he hisses. Vivian looks at him calmly. Yes, she says. It is. Derek tries to slip out. Security is waiting. Vivian turns to the board. I apologize for the chaos, but I believe in transparency. I hope this board values that. The chairman clears his throat. Miss Ashford, given the circumstances, you handled this with remarkable integrity. Your position is not in question. Vivian nods. Thank you. I will submit my transition plan. After Cascade closes, I intend to start a new chapter. She looks at me. One I have been waiting for. 3 months later, the acquisition closes. Vivian's last day is a Friday in late autumn. There is a small farewell party. 200 employees say goodbye. The board presents her with a framed photograph of the original office. She accepts it with grace, but I see the relief in her eyes. After the party, I stay to help clean up. The room empties until it is just us. Vivian sits down and kicks off her heels. It is over, she says quietly. 15 years. Finally over. How do you feel, I ask. Terrified, she says. Relieved. Excited. She looks at me. Do you remember the first time I came to your apartment? I remember, I say. I had been through a war, she says, but sitting on your couch drinking that terrible coffee was the first time I felt like maybe I could stop fighting. She stands and walks toward me. I am not your CEO anymore, she says. I am just Vivian, and you are just Theron. Two ordinary people. I reach out and touch her face. I never thought you were ordinary. She smiles. Can I kiss you? She asks. You do not have to ask, I say. She rises on her toes and presses her lips to mine. The kiss is soft at first. Then it deepens into something real. Something that feels like home. When we break apart, we are both breathless. That, she says, felt like a beginning. Yeah, I say. It did. 1 year later. Same apartment. Same coffee maker that rattles and wheezes. But everything is different. Dawn breaks over Seattle, not with a knock this time, because we are already awake, already together. Vivian stands at the counter pouring coffee. She refused to let me buy a new machine, says it has character. On her left hand, a simple engagement ring catches the light. She sold the penthouse 6 months ago. Too empty, she said. She moved in with me. We are looking for something bigger, but neither of us is in a hurry. She started a consulting business. Small companies needing strategy. She works from the spare bedroom I converted into an office. Happiest she has been in years. Raymond got 5 years in prison. Derek never worked again. I got promoted twice. Not because of Vivian, because I stopped believing I was not enough. The company buzzed with gossip for weeks after everything happened. But something unexpected occurred. Employees started coming to me, not to ask about Vivian, to thank me. She was different after you, one engineer said. More human. We could tell. I realized Vivian had not been as alone as she thought. People had been watching, hoping, waiting for her to find happiness. They just never told her. She brings the coffee over and sits beside me on the couch. Do you know what I was thinking, she says, when I knocked on your door that morning? I thought my life was over, she says. I thought I had hit bottom. And now I ask. Now I know that was not bottom. That was a door. And you opened it. I kiss her forehead. You knocked, I say. I just answered. She laughs softly. Sometimes that is all it takes, she says. Someone willing to open the door. We sit together in the gray Seattle morning, drinking coffee that costs $3 a bag, in an apartment that could fit in her old closet. I have never felt richer. Because the knock at 5 in the morning was not the end of anything. It was the beginning of everything.